People love premium bonds because they give you the chance to win cash prizes every month up to £1 million. But while the thrill of potentially winning a prize can spice up your savings, are premium bonds the best way to make the most of your money? Let's see. But before we explore whether premium bonds are worth it, I'm going to explain what they are and how they work. So premium bonds are a very popular type of savings account from National Savings and Investments, or ns&i, that offer customers the chance of winning cash prizes instead of earning interest. Right now, there are around 5.9 million prizes to win each month, ranging from £25 to £1 million. As you can expect, there are loads more of the lower value prizes compared to the bigger ones. Almost 99% of the total number of prizes are £25, £50 or £100. There are two £1 million prizes to win each month, so 24 chances a year to win. But in reality, it's very unlikely you'll win one of these big prizes. Any prizes you do win are tax-free, and this can be a really big draw if you're someone who's likely to pay tax on your savings interest or are a higher or additional rate taxpayer. If we look at standard savings accounts, not including ISAs, only some of the interest you earn is tax-free. So if you're a basic rate taxpayer, you get an £1,000 personal savings allowance each year, and if you're a higher rate taxpayer, you get a £500 allowance. Any savings interest above this will be taxed at your usual tax rate. Additional rate taxpayers don't get any tax-free allowance, which means any savings interest you earn will be taxed. It's why premium bonds can be much more appealing to those on higher incomes, especially if they've already exceeded their annual ISA allowance too. Now, when I say premium bonds are popular, they are popular. Some 24 million people have premium bonds, including over 800,000 kids. The first prize draw was in 1957, and fun fact, the machine used to generate random numbers for the draw, called the Electronic Random Number Indicator Equipment, or ERNIE for short, was invented by a Bletchley Park codebreaker. Now, each bond costs £1, although you have to buy a minimum of £25 worth at a time. This gets you 25 entries into each monthly draw. The maximum number of bonds you can have is 50,000, worth £50,000. 100% of your money is backed by the Treasury, so if you have more money in other ns&i accounts, it will all be protected. There's no £85,000 limit as there is with providers covered by the Financial Compensation Services Scheme. And as with savings accounts, you can't lose money with premium bonds. You can cash the bonds in at any time, but it can take up to 8 working days for the money to reach your current account, though it's often quicker. If you want to buy premium bonds for yourself, you've got to be over 16 years old. If you're buying them for children, the account will be held by the parents or legal guardians until the child reaches 16. You can get premium bonds from the ns&i website, or you can buy them by post or over the phone. But if you're buying premium bonds for someone else's kids, you can't buy them over the phone, and you won't be able to buy premium bonds for yourself or anybody else using your credit card. Now, the timing of when to buy premium bonds is important too. So the premium bond draws take place at the start of each month, normally the second or third, depending on how weekends fall. But you're only eligible for each draw on bonds that have been invested for a full month. This means you're better off buying them at the end of a calendar month than at any other point. So, how much could you win? Well, premium bonds don't have an interest rate. Instead, there's a prize rate, as I said already. Right now, that's set at 4%, but it can and will change. So make sure you keep an eye out for updates on the website, YouTube channel, and podcast when this happens. So, does 4% mean you actually get 4% back? Actually, it does not. And it's important to understand what the prize rate actually means. So the prize rate right now suggests an average of £4 is paid out for each £100 saved. But it's not as simple as that because there's no £4 prize. Since the minimum is £25, it means not every bond can win each time. There's no guarantee you'll win anything, and let's be honest, most bonds don't. So to give you an idea of the prizes available, let's run through a breakdown of the prizes. So this will vary a little by draw, and when a rate changes, the distribution of prizes will also change, but it gives you an idea of how it looks. So the first thing to think about is there are always fewer of the big prizes overall. So at the moment, there are just two £1 million prizes, 82 100,000 prizes, and 166 50,000 prizes. And moving down the chart, there are much more of the smaller value prizes. So there's over 2 million chances to win £100 and £50. This means you're far more likely to get a £25, £50 or £100 prize than any other. So that's what you could win, but how likely is that to happen? Well, the odds at the time of recording are 22,000 to 1, which isn't great, but in reality, it's not the same odds for everyone. So the amount you've saved will be a big factor, and the more money you have in premium bonds, the better your chances of winning. That's because you'll have more entries into each draw. So I had to go with an online calculator to see what you could win based on how much money you have in premium bonds at the current 4% prize rate. This suggested that if you had £100 or £1,000 in premium bonds, you'd win nothing in a year based on average luck. With £10,000 saved, you could win £325, the equivalent of a 3.25% interest rate, which can be beaten by plenty of easy access accounts. And with £50,000, you could win £1,725, which would be a 3.45% return. Basically, what it's showing us is that even with average luck, no matter what amount you've got in premium bonds, everyone is earning below the prize rate. Yes, a tiny handful will do far better, but what's more likely is that most people won't win anything. Sorry. We know that around 14.4 million people, or 2/3 of premium bond holders, have never won a prize with the premium bonds. This came from a Freedom of Information request made by investment firm AJ Bell. And for those lucky enough to win, well, luck is the word. Let's not forget Andy's friend's experience with premium bonds. The three of them invested £50,000 in premium bonds for a year and had very different results. Over the year, one friend won £1,850, another won £3,675, and the final friend won a massive £11,750. This last friend was especially lucky as they managed to win one of the few £10,000 prizes and meant their overall winnings gave them the equivalent of a 23.5% return. As you can see, we've got three people with the same money for the same period and totally different winnings. And that's a strong example of how much premium bond success boils down to luck. Now, I've touched upon it briefly, but let's look at how premium bonds compare with savings accounts. As I've mentioned before, savings rates are guaranteed. You'll get that 3% or 4% or even 5% of whatever the account is paying. Now, if you sign up for a variable rate, which easy access accounts tend to offer, it can change at any time. But this can also happen with the premium bond prize rate too. But the difference is with premium bonds, as I've said earlier, is there's no certainty that you'll get the equivalent of the prize rate or win anything at all. So when you're looking at savings rates, if it's the same or higher than the premium bonds prize rate, you'll probably be better off going with the savings account. Now, when I talk about savings accounts, I am also including cash ISAs in this. So if you're one of those people I spoke about earlier who are likely to pay tax on your savings interest, either because you've gone beyond your personal savings allowance or you don't get one, making use of your £20,000 annual ISA allowance is a really good idea. Like premium bonds, any returns you earn from your ISA will be tax-free, but unlike premium bonds, the ISA returns are guaranteed. We keep our savings tables regularly updated, so for the best rates, see becleverwithyourcash.com/savings and our ISA page too. So if you do win, how do you know? Well, the quickest way to find out if you've won is by entering your account number into the ns&i Premium Bond Prize Checker, or the app version, which you can get on the App Store or Google Play. So this will show you this month's prizes, anything you've won in the previous 6 months, and any older prizes you've not claimed yet. If you're a bit more techie, you can also ask Alexa if you've won. You'll need to open the skill on the Alexa app and follow the steps. You can choose to have the prizes transferred into more premium bonds or paid into a linked bank account. However, if you have the full £50,000 in premium bonds, then you must have the prizes paid out. Make sure you move that to another account which pays a decent rate of interest. So the big question is, should you buy premium bonds? Well, sorry to say, for most people, the answer is probably not. For most, savings accounts are a better option than premium bonds. But as I've said before, for the higher earners, they might still hold a little bit of a lure because of the tax-free prizes. But ISAs should be your first port of call. However, if you've maxed out your £20,000 allowance and you're likely to pay tax on your savings interest, premium bonds might still worth be considering. Other people might like premium bonds because of the thrill of potentially winning £1 million or other generous prizes. However, while someone has to win the £1 million, and they do, many savers never will. And you could end up getting absolutely no return on your money for as long as you have the bonds. Generally speaking, even if you have the maximum £50,000 in premium bonds, you're still going to come up short of the rates of the top easy access or limited access accounts. It's also not a great idea to have that much money in easy access accounts anyway. As a rule of thumb, you want to keep between 3 and 6 months outgoings in these accounts or a cash ISA to make sure you're covered in case of an emergency. And that's it. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure you check out these videos for more ways to help you make the most of your money.